So if you're one of those people that stretches your dog at home, then this is a video that you should watch, because there's one thing that you need to appreciate and be very aware of when you are doing the stretches. So I'm Adam and this is Bo, and today we're going to be talking about joint end feel. So when we're discussing joint end feel, and I'm sorry that you have to stare at Bo's rear end here, but when we're talking about joint end feel, we really want to understand if it's a hard end feel or a soft, spongy end feel. And what the difference is when you go through the range of motion, bony end feel is actually hard, so it stops. It can't go any further, and that's because if we use a ball and socket analogy here, is when you go back, it's hitting its anatomical end range, and it's actually the bone or the ligament that is stopping, and it's creating a very hard blocking mechanism. So the dog's literally not going to go further. So think about this: if you're stretching your arm or your elbow, for example, that's a great one, is you can go to the end and it just doesn't go any further. It just locks out. And that's because it's hit its anatomical end range. So that's bony end feel. When you hit this, it's great because you know that the dog's tendons and muscles are nice and relaxed, that you can actually get through the joint's full range of motion. You never want to force the end range and try to stretch further when you're hitting a bony end feel. Now, on the other hand, if you're getting a spongy or soft end feel, that's typically a reaction from the muscles. The other thing you might notice is that your dog is actually fighting back. So as you go to move their leg or you move their hip, you feel like the muscles are resisting in the other direction. And that would be more so muscle guarding. So when that's the case, typically you want to release those muscles. There could be underlying issues. The muscle guarding could be secondary to a joint problem or other types of issues. But typically that's your telltale sign that something's going on in there, and then you have to determine what that is. So when you're going through there, always remember, what does the end feel like? Never force through either of them. So if it is bony end feel, you never want to force past the end range of motion. You never want to push into the joint because it's going to affect the joint itself. But if it's a spongy, muscular end feel where it's guarding, you want to get that muscle to relax. You can do what's called reciprocal inhibition, where you stimulate the opposing or antagonistic muscle. So for example, in the quad or hip flexors, you can activate and stimulate the hamstring muscles, which will decrease the effects of guarding on the antagonistic muscles like the quads and the hip flexors, and that will help you get a little bit further. So work on those muscles. Two things to take into account. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching that video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you might enjoy this one that's over here, or if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us out a lot and it keeps you up to date with our latest content, and you can do that right over there.